All right, all right. Now this I'm excited about. This I'm excited about. I want to see how many people will actually do this. Like for real. I've pitched it to a few. I've gotten mixed responses, but I'm telling you, this can change your trading forever. Okay? So it's the 50 trade orb challenge. Um I can't really express how much time and effort went into this, but this challenge is designed to make you grow as a trader. And anyway, so let's just go ahead and dive right into this. The Orb Trading Challenge is 50 trades. One simple mechanical strategy with a clear mission to follow the rules exactly, no tweaks, no exceptions, okay? But this isn't just about taking trades, it's about growing into the trader you're capable of being. By removing freedom to wing it, you can create space to see what's really going on inside your head. Okay, guys, this is where this is actually going to change people forever and their perspective on the market and help them become more disciplined and better traders. Seriously. Okay, now you're going to be able to download this for free. So that link is down below. All right. So let's keep going. What is going on inside your head? The fear of pulling the trigger, the subtle shift in confidence after wins or losses, and little urges to break up your own rules, trade. Each trade becomes a lesson. Okay. Each day becomes an opportunity to sharpen your discipline, and each week is a step closer to trading with clarity, patience, and confidence. By the end of these 50 trades, you won't just know the orb strategy better, but you also know yourself better. That's the whole point. Okay. The reason why I chose orb is because of its simplistic approach, right? There's like no intuition involved in this trading, which really brings you down bare bones, right? I mean, most of us have been chasing golden strategies and like six indicators and this and that and confirmation and confirmation. And because we're doing that, we're chasing that instead of chasing what we need to fix with us as traders, right? So I designed this strategy specifically. This strategy is kind of like a 50-50-ish strategy. It goes on win streaks, it goes on loss streaks. It's not really necessarily designed to make money. It can, but this strategy is designed to reveal what is going on as you as a trader and the decisions you make and why. Okay. So you know yourself better, and that self awareness will give you the tools to take your trading to the next level. That's the challenge. Okay. How many of us have blown accounts? How many of us have how many years have we spent not being profitable, right? So take the challenge. It's 50 trades. There's one to like 3, 4 trades a day, so it doesn't even take that long. In all reality, it's a small investment in you. Okay, and for once, it's not about making profits. It's about investing in yourself and using this challenge to reveal what's going on inside of you and inside of your head as a trader. And since I've done this, and I've been revealing myself to me, right, and putting up that mirror and looking into it as I trade, I've never been a better trader. It's insane. The less I chase profits, the more money I make. Okay. You can come join us in the Discord. We do have a VIP. Yes, you do need to pay for it. If you want to come do this live with us, we would be there to help, coach you and whatever, sharpen your discipline, strengthen your mental. All right. So we do have that available. There is a link down below for that. But if nothing else, like our main objective is not to make money. But if you take this trade or this challenge and it makes you a better trader, then mission accomplished. Okay. So this is the kind of torture I put myself through to become profitable. Okay. Over the years. So the 50 trade orb challenge, you're going to track your trades, win, losses, whatever. Okay. If you get a win, you put it here. If you get a loss, you put it here. But it doesn't matter. That's the whole point. Okay. A W on the day is taking a loss and following the mechanical strategy exactly. Okay. A win for the day is the trade winning, but you followed it exactly. Okay. Wins and losses from you. This is when your impulses have kicked in This is your L's over here. These are your W's right here. Your wins and losses from the orbs, these are all W's. This is your L when you do something outside. Okay? And I can't express to you kind of how hard this can be. And yes, you're probably going to end up with some of the wins and losses from you. That's okay. All right. Um, I can't tell you how many times I had to kind of start over on this and practice it again. So let's go ahead and move on. All right. Let's talk about how to actually trade the orb. I'm telling you, super easy. So it's just an orb plus a fair value gap breakout. That's it. So from 9 to 9:30, you sit down at the charts. Okay, you're going to do your TA in about 10 seconds. You're on the 1 minute chart. At 9:35, when it's done, that 5 minute candle is printed, highs and lows on that candle. That's it. Okay. From there, these two levels are your breakout range. Okay, a lot of people know orb. That's why I chose orb. Okay, plus I was able to break this down to potentially be profitable, but like completely bare bones. Now, remember, I'm not like advocating that this is a profitable strategy the way it sits. I am saying take this challenge and be willing to lose, but take the challenge because I'm telling you, the profits are on the other side of this when you build yourself up as a trader and understand who you are better. All right. You're going to wait for a breakout. Okay. Price must break above the high or the low of that first 5 minute candle. That's it. And I got stuff coming. I got some pictures coming. All right. So the breakout is only tradable if it forms a fair value gap. Okay. If you don't know what a fair value gap is, we're going to go over it. But that's it. Okay. Stop trading at 11:30. That's it. All right. The fair value gap rules is you do want to look for the first 3 candle fair value gap in the breakout direction, and it's only valid if the third candle closes outside the orb range. So if you get a fair value gap in the middle of the range, let it go. Who cares? All right. Risk management on this is going to get a lot of people, but I'm telling you, I designed this very specifically to challenge, okay, to challenge you as a trader. All right. So you enter right on the third fair value gap candle. We're going to go over that. Risk management. Like I said, this is going to be the challenge. It's a 1 to 3. Okay. So you're going to put your stop loss at the low of the fair value gap, and then you're just going to go 1 to 3 from there. Okay. I recommend risking somewhere around $100 on a $30, $50 combine prop firm somewhere, Top Step, Apex. And if you're literally only trading $100 risk, you should be good for quite a while, for quite a few trades. Even if it just slowly draws you down, I'm telling you, the training is worth the investment. All right. So let's go over this. All right. I decided to pull it up in TradingView so we could see it a little bit better. So this is a trade, okay, right here. This is a 1 to 3, okay. So as you can see, we get our little breakout range. I used Lux Algo just to mark the range for me. I'm just whatever, no big deal. So here we go, 9:30 to 9:35. We marked the high and the low, so you can see the range right here. Okay, now we got a fair value gap right off the rip. Candle 1, 2, and 3 with a fair value gap, and we closed outside the range. Simple as that. So I entered and held this trade, took profits here. Okay, now I know what you're thinking, like, oh, it's right on the wick. Okay, if even if it was a little further, it did continue up, we would have hit the target, whatever. But that's it. Like, that is it. And in my opinion, you want to do your best to risk $100, right around $100, depending on how many micros you got to take. So whenever I enter a trade, I just enter where my risk is. Stop loss here is at $100 on the combine. That's it. That's all it is. All right. Take profit. Simple. 1 to 3. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Let's go ahead and reset chart and let's look at yesterday. So this day there was only one as well. And This is a part of the training, okay? I'm telling you, some of you guys are gonna look at this and go, "There ain't no way I'm doing this," but I promise you, it'll change you as a trader forever. So we get the same, okay? Let me scoot in here a little bit. All right. Boom, fair value gap. Candle one, candle two, candle three. With that gap in the middle, bang, entered the trade. Almost got hit, almost got hit. And yes, we went into profit. Okay, boom, shakalaka. There we go. Okay, but now what? Now I have to deal with the emotions as a trader. Boom, pow, hit my stop loss. Okay, that's the training. And that's what you go through. That's what you document. That's what you journal. All right. I know people are super excited about this, but I'm telling you, if you had done this the past month, you'd actually be making money. There's like a 9 hour return. I think it's a little bit more than that now, but whatever. It's like a 9 hour return. Okay. I'm not saying the strategy is going to be consistently profitable. That's not what it's about. But I try to pick a strategy that had the potential of being profitable and potentially not, right? As a training ground. And I feel like this one is consistent enough. It has enough trades to get traders the opportunity to get in the market and feel the emotions, but it's so mechanical that you can just stick with it and work with yourself as a trader. Okay, this was yesterday. Okay, so let's kind of go over that real quick. All right, so what do we got? We came above the range and we had a fair value gap right here. So candle 1, 2, and 3 with a small gap. You take it. It's mechanical, okay? This is for training. Boom, stopped out. Bang, ouch. Terrible day, okay? Same thing. Candle 1, 2, and 3 with a fair value gap. Boom, took the short. Was in profit a little bit. Okay? We don't secure profit. We're not doing any of that at this moment, okay? Got stopped out. Okay, and then finally, we got the little fair value gap right here. Bang, bang. 1, 2, 3. Boom. 1 to 3. So that ended up being a profitable day. All right. And let me tell you, that right there, and then ending up in profit from a mechanical strategy, it starts to change your mindset on the way this game works. Okay. As far as probabilities and stuff. All right. All right. So, like I said, this document's going to be available below. You can download it for free. I don't even ask for your emails or anything like that. Whatever, right? If you want to come join us in the VIP and we'll do this together, that's fantastic. We're here for you. Yes, that does cost, but at the same time, I wanted to give something out to people that will help them. All right. So here's a quick flow. Mark the orb levels. Wait for a breakout plus the fair value gap in the breakout direction. Confirm third candle closes outside the range. Take the entry. Stop loss at the fair value gap extreme. TP 1 to 3. Repeat until 11:30 and then stop. It's 2 hours a day. That's it. That's it. All right, let's keep going. So here's some examples. This day was loser, 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 win. And this win you had to kind of hold, but it was. I mean, it looks like a big win, but it's 1 to 3, right? Lost 100, lost 100, lost 100, gained 300. That day was break even. Okay, look at this day. Okay, you get in, you risk 100, you make 300, but you had to hold it. Hold it. Like, for this style intraday trading, that was a long hold. And you had to deal with the emotion of, oh, I almost hit my TP. I almost hit it. And then what's it do? It comes down. What are you feeling right here? Oh, I feel like I should close the trade, man. That way I can guarantee a W. Bang, hit the winner. Okay. These are the kinds of things you want to document. I'm telling you. All right. Loser, winner. Okay. So there you go. So risk management rule. I'm gonna just kind of go over this briefly. I really wanted to kind of. This is where I feel a lot of people go wrong. Okay. You want to risk about the same amount each time. Now, as you become a more mature trader, you kind of understand, probabilistically speaking, in terms of probabilities, which trades are better than others. A plus setups and then not, whatever. We understand that. So there are times where you want to risk less or more. Not in this strategy. Okay? Not in this strategy. You just want to follow it blindly. Okay? But you're doing it in a way where you're blind to trading, right? You're just like mechanically following trading, But what you're paying attention to is what's going on in here and in here. Okay. All right. So, for example, if you have a $50,000 combine, that usually means you got a $2,000 drawdown. So this strategy right now is closing 47% on the um, 40-ish trades that half of them I actually traded, the other half I back tested. But I was very strict with the back testing, because I mean it's 1 minute candles. Like it's hard to mess that up, and it's fair value gaps that close outside of range. It's pretty crazy. Okay, but I said 40% win rate, so that means the probabilities of my biggest loss streak is about 10 losing trades. Okay, so for a combined, for me to lose $2,000, I should lose 10 trades. So I say cut that in half, risk 100. You can lose 20 trades in a row before you blow this combined or a combined or whatever. Okay, you could simulate this 100%. You could paper trade it. That's free. Maybe some people want to do that. That's great. I kind of like adding the pressure of the prop firm, of passing the challenge, or even doing this on a funded account. Um, that's up to you. Okay. Accept the risks, but that's where I feel it's worth it. Okay. I want to feel pressure. I want to feel like this is real. Okay. Because that's what I'm trying to do is get those emotions up and running. Okay. And I've already been doing this with people, and I've already heard things like, oh, I took profits a little early, or, and I'm telling you, I've done all this. So I am not picking on anyone 100%, because dude, your man took profits on one of these like last week a little early because my intuition was clicking. And then you know what? It just continued on to the TP. Okay. So it's just for me to realize what's going on, document and journal, journal, journal. Okay. So you guys understand this. Okay. Why do this? The survives worst case loss streaks. You shouldn't get that many losses, but you might, especially if you add a couple of your own revenge trades. Okay, that's why I say cut the 200 down to 100. It gives you extra room for learning. All right, removes emotional decision making. People don't realize decision fatigue is huge, and when we put you under pressure, add emotion. Each decision you make with that added pressure and emotion is taxing you at such a greater rate than if you were just freely observing the market and you didn't even care. So just imagine if I gave you $1,000,000 and I said, I want you to risk $50 per trade. And at the end of this challenge, you can keep whatever's left. You wouldn't even care about each trade. You would have zero monetary investment, and you would make decisions freely without even, it wouldn't even affect you. Okay. That's why sometimes traders who make it are traders who hit it big and then they get to invest themselves. Anyway, that's a whole nother video. All right. So keep sizing consistent. That way you're not like, for example, the day with the 4 trades and there was 3 losses and 1 win, that's a break-even day. But if on the 1 win, because you had 3 losses, I have to count correctly. If you had 3 losses in the morning and you were scared on the 4th trade and you went in $50, well, now you're down 1.5 R on the day, right? You're down $150. That's why you just need to remain consistent. And it protects you from blowing up. Okay, that's huge. This method isn't about what feels safe. It's actually a lot about teaching you to endure being uncomfortable. Okay, I think that's a huge deal that traders don't recognize and they don't deal with, is the fact that we don't like being uncomfortable, and that's why we like to take profits and secure profits. And like a lot of times, like if I hit a big winner, I'm like, dude, like I'll only take a piece of that win for my next couple of trades, because it's like I'm winning. So I can keep myself in the mindset of winning. I can protect. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's those kinds of things you want to journal and you want to understand about yourself as a trader, because I can say, like, being wrong for me is actually more costly and detrimental than like going on some win streak. Because when I go on a win streak, my ego does get stroked, and I feel like I'm right, so I get really kind of cocky, and I'll want to size up. But what's detrimental for me is when I think I'm right and then I'm wrong, and then it's like my ego's hit in such a different way that I have to revenge trade myself back. Man, I got to redeem myself. And it's like that's silly. Anyway, but I learned that through doing stuff like this. Okay. So, why we trade this strategy? The strategy isn't about chasing profits. It's about shaping you as a trader that, the trader you need to become. The orb and fair value setup we're running here is deliberately simple, mechanical, and restrictive. You have to understand, just accept the strategy as it sits. Don't add anything. Of course, the other day we came right up to the previous day high, and I'm like, logically you take profits here, but I'm like, no, not during the challenge. Okay. Anyway, so I built this strategy this way so we can strip away unnecessary decision making and see yourself clearly in the process. Okay. This has an actual process. This has a reason, all right? And I want to challenge you to take this challenge. You don't have to come join our VIP and do it with us. You can, but just take the challenge, go do it yourself. One, you're going to see kind of how hard it is. Two, it's going to start opening up your mind at certain things, right? You're going to be like, wow, I really was just flat out observing the market because I didn't have any actual like deep emotional connection to my strategy and my ego, and you can start to clear some of that, and it really, I'm telling you, it'll make a difference. Anyway, all right. So you're going to learn to execute without hesitation. You get the opportunity to train yourself to stay objective and draw down. You get to separate your self worth from single trades. Okay, that's definitely something that you'll learn from this, is the fact that you're going to go 50 trades. Okay, and if you take a trade on your own, don't count those. That does not go towards a 50. It has to be 50 orb trades. Okay, hopefully you'll learn to detach yourself from a single trade, so you can take an L on the day and know that you're good and you're okay, and that you're gonna wake up tomorrow and it's not a problem, and you know what I mean. Because a lot of times we take those L's and we have to fight to get that W, and we end up blowing and smoking the account. Come on, am I talking to anybody, or is it just me? Like, did I create the? If I created this just for myself, fine, so be it. I don't mind working to be a better trader, but I really really hope this goes out and helps a lot of people. Okay, so replace your guesswork with disciplined and repeatable actions. That's another thing you can train yourself very specifically in this. Okay, at the end of this, it isn't about the P&L. It's you. It's the trader you've built. Okay, so we have to train ourselves, just like any profession, just like any you know um, Navy SEAL, right? Like you're training yourself for a specific situation. Okay, if you can't sit uncomfortably in a trade as a trader, there's a problem. Okay, because trading is inherently uncomfortable, and you got to learn that. Okay, and you're not going to learn it by jumping from strategy to strategy to strategy. I've heard this many times from people. I do one-on-ones with people, and I've done a lot of like DMs, and I work in other discords as an admin to communicate and help train people. And I hear this a lot. Once I find the golden strategy, or once I find a strategy that works for me, I know my mental game will calm down. And I'm like, no, that, in my opinion, that's not true, because you're going to be holding the golden strategy and you're not going to have the mental capacity to implement that strategy successfully. And you're going to let it go and go on to the next one and the next one and the next one. Okay. There's a reason why I believe in this, mainly because I've seen it in myself first, and it took a lot to get me out. See, guys, the one thing I wanted to do was make a video about mentorship, right? And there's it took a lot of mentors to pull me out of the gutter. And I'm not just saying that like, oh, I've had it hard as a trader. Like, whatever. Like, I mean, it took multiple people and multiple years of like people pouring into me before I was able to even be successful or stay afloat in this game, right? And now that quote I've made it, okay, I'm not some 7-figure trader. I've got no Lambo. I'm not like that, okay, but that I've made it past constantly blowing combines and accounts and losing money to making some money, right? Now that I've made it there, one, I am so grateful to all of those mentors. Okay, you know, and I am. That's why I want to do it for others. Okay, that's why I have a heart for this, and that's why I want to help people. And hey, you don't need me. Okay, you can just take this challenge. You could take it to a friend or a mentor that you're already working with, and run it with them. Okay. All right. So let's get into this. This is not the fun part, but daily journal. You could use any other journal. I just put this in here so people have it. Maybe what day trade you're on, number of trades that you took that day, and if you felt calm, focused, hesitant, frustrated, overcome, fear, like what was your predominant emotional check, right? Like check yourself for that. Did you execute? Did you follow your plan? Did you deviate from the plan? What was your overall discipline score? Some days, you're going to rock like a 9 on the discipline, like, yeah, look at me. I can orb every day without question. And then other days, you're going to be like, dude, like the orb lost 2 in a row, and I took 2 trades trying to make it up, right? And then what did you learn on that day? Right? Just a simple line there. Okay, so you can either print this out or use your own journal, whatever. I just wanted to include a couple pages of that. And then I do have a post reflection worksheet. This is the part nobody wants to do. Okay, nobody wants to sit in front of a mirror and go, these are the things you suck at as a trader, right? Nobody wants to admit those things. We always want to blame some external source, right? I have the funny video about me blaming coffee because I had too much espresso and I was too excited, and then I revenge trade and then went on tilt and blew an account. And I wanted to blame the coffee. Like, come on. All right, that's just me being real. That was a real thing. I didn't make that up. It's not scripted. It legit happened. And I was talking to my wife about it, and she was like, well, it sounds like you're trying to blame an external source for your internal decision making. And I was floored. I was like, wow, like that is crazy insightful and very truthful and very loving because it was very honest. And I like reflected on that, and I'm like, dang. It was like I didn't go immediately, but it was like I instantly made that video and was like, that was like eye opening. I was like, dang, I wouldn't take responsibility. I wouldn't take extreme ownership, great book by the way, over my decisions there. I wanted to blame that I had too much caffeine. Yeah, sure, caffeine can affect you. External things do affect you, but I ultimately make the decisions. I could have chosen not to trade. Been like, "Oh man, I'm like too spiked up on caffeine. Let me step away from the charts." All right? I could have, but no. I chose to go on tilt. Okay. So you can go through this, answer these. This is where I would spend the time. I mean, if you're going to take 50 trades mechanically and spend weeks doing it, take the time to fill this out and learn yourself as a trader. Who are you as a trader? All right. And the last thing I want to go over here, hold on, I can barely get it on the screen. There we go, is the WIL. All right. So the wins, losses, and then impulses. I want you guys to see this and chart this and make a pie graph or something if you want. All right. Win and loss for the strategy. Sure. Okay. No problem. I'm expecting the strategy roughly to be break even. It might lose a little, it might make a little, whatever, right? But do it. And then include your impulses. What trades did you take emotionally? So maybe it was like, 40% wins, 35% losses, and then 5% was impulse, stuff that was outside the plan, not a valid setup, whatever, right? And then figure that out. And you can see, and okay, be honest with yourself. Okay, if you have to do this behind closed doors, just by yourself because you're afraid people are going to judge you, I understand that. Okay, I have an ego problem when it comes to trading. That's why I don't share all my wins and I don't post like, look at me, right? Because I know that'll go straight to my head and I'll end up blowing the account the next day because I fed my ego, right? And I need to keep my ego under control when it comes to trading. So do it. Just be honest with yourself. Hold up that mirror and be like, dang, it was 50% impulse, 25% wins, 25% losses. Like, just be honest, right? I've had those months. I've had funded accounts that were up like, 4, 5, 6 grand. And I'm just like so stoked about the money that's about to come in that I just like take a few losses, go on tilt, smoke. Okay. Not something I do as much nowadays. It does happen. Usually it's a much lesser degree, like much lesser degree. And usually, I've already pulled a few payouts before that happens, luckily. So, anyways, I hope this challenge is going to be something that helps you, that challenges you as a trader. And please, let me know down below. Like comments, like if this worked for you, if you hate it, that's fine. And if you, share this out with people. I really think this is something that can help a lot of people. All right. So, anyways, we do have a free Discord. If you just want to join and chat with us, that'd be great. It'd be fun. And I will see you guys in the next video.